Some abandoned places carry secrets far darker than dust and decay. Forgotten by time and hidden from the world, these sites are so terrifying that even the boldest adventurers hesitate to step foot inside. Haunted hospitals echo the whispers of the past, ghost towns stand frozen in time, and cursed forests lurk with shadows that seem to move on their own. Behind the decay lies a chilling truth, one so unsettling that most can't even begin to imagine. Join us as we unravel 15 spine-chilling discoveries hidden in the most abandoned, eerie corners of the world. Let's start with number 15. Human remains in the catacombs. Deep beneath the streets of Paris, 6 million people are buried in the most chilling way possible. Why? Well, back in the 1700s, Paris was facing a pretty huge problem. Its cemeteries were so overcrowded that the bodies were spilling out into people's basements. The stench was unbearable, and disease was spreading fast. To fix the problem, the city turned to the old limestone quarries under Paris and decided to move the dead underground. For 12 years, workers hauled bones from the cemeteries, stacking them in these dark tunnels. What they made was the catacombs, a maze of bones and skulls that stretch for miles beneath the city. Now, urban explorers flock to the catacombs to see the eerie walls lined with bones. But it's not all just history. Some areas of the catacombs are off limits to the public, and people who've dared to explore those parts report strange things. Whispers in the dark, footsteps following them, and even ghostly figures appearing in photos. One section even has a sign that reads L'Empire des Morts, meaning the Empire of Death. So, do you wish to visit this bone-chilling site? Number 14. Abandoned mother and baby home. If Paris has its catacombs, Ireland has Tuam, a quiet, abandoned town that hides a horrifying secret beneath its surface. In 2014, a group of amateur historians uncovered something that shook Ireland to its core, buried under what was once a Catholic institution for unmarried mothers and their children. The home, operating from 1925 to 1961, was supposed to offer shelter, but the reality was far darker. Women endured daily humiliation, forced labor, and were separated from their babies. The conditions were appalling: overcrowded rooms, poor medical care, and an atmosphere of punishment. In 2014, historian Catherine Corus uncovered the horrifying truth. Her research into burial records revealed that 796 children had died in the home, most of them under the age of 3. The discovery took a darker turn when children playing nearby found bone fragments. A mass grave, hidden beneath what appeared to be a sewage tank, was uncovered, revealing the remains of innocent lives discarded without dignity. The nation was left reeling, but Ireland isn't the only site with haunting remains hidden underground. Number 13. The Chapel of Bones. If you walk into the Chapel of Bones in Évora, Portugal, you're stepping into a world where death is more than just a concept. It's the decor. The Capela dos Ossos is exactly what it sounds like, a chapel built from the remains of the dead. In the 16th century, when local cemeteries were overflowing, 3 Franciscan monks decided to get creative. They exhumed around 5,000 skeletons and used them to build this eerie sanctuary, turning bones into walls, columns, and ceilings. The chapel's entrance greets you with a chilling message. Nós ossos que aqui estamos, pelos vossos esperamos, meaning, we bones that are here await yours. Inside, human skulls stare down from every corner, and bones form intricate patterns across the walls. 2 corpses, one adult, one child, sway from chains, frozen in a macabre dance. In fact, visitors often report feeling a strange weight in the air, as if the dead are watching. Some even claim to hear whispers or feel cold spots. What you think? Let us know in the comment below. Number 12. The Island of Dolls. Now let's talk about something that will haunt your dreams, the Island of Dolls. Located in the canals of Xochimilco, Mexico, this eerie island is home to hundreds of decaying dolls, each with hollow eyes that seem to follow your every move. The story begins in the 1950s, when Don Julian Santana Barrera, the island's caretaker, found the body of a young girl who had drowned in the water. Devastated by the tragedy and claiming to hear her whispers at night, Santana began collecting discarded dolls from the nearby canals and garbage. He hung them around the island, believing they would protect him from demons and evil spirits and comfort the girl's soul. What began as a tribute soon became an obsession. By the time of his death in 2001, ironically drowning in the same spot where he found the girl's body, the island had become a twisted shrine of dolls with severed heads, sun-bleached faces, and limbs dangling from tree branches. Visitors often report hearing whispers and footsteps when no one's around. Some even say the dolls come to life at night. But as they say, never believe anything until you see with your own two eyes. Number 11. Hashima Island's Ghost Town. This town is one of the most eerie and desolate places you'll ever come across. Rising from the East China Sea like a concrete fortress, this small island, barely 16 acres in size, once housed over 5,000 people. Known as Battleship Island, Hashima was a thriving coal mining town from 1887 to 1974, with apartment blocks, schools, hospitals, and even entertainment venues. But when the coal ran out, the people left, and the island was abandoned. Today, it's a crumbling reminder of Japan's industrial past. The ghostly ruins of this once bustling town feel like something straight out of a post-apocalyptic movie. Urban explorers who visit report hearing strange whispers in the empty halls, spotting fleeting shadows moving through decaying rooms, and feeling an eerie presence that lingers in the air. The buildings, battered by time and weather, are collapsing, and each room holds remnants of lives left behind. Old photographs, broken furniture, and forgotten belongings, all trapped in time since the last person walked away. Number 10. Pripyat Amusement Park. Imagine a park, frozen in time, its rusted Ferris wheel reaching toward a sky forever tainted by tragedy. The Pripyat Amusement Park was never given the chance to fulfill its purpose. Built to open on May 1, 1986, for the May Day celebrations, it was destined to be a place of joy and laughter. But just days before, disaster struck. The Chernobyl nuclear catastrophe on April 26th left the park abandoned, its rides never filled with the laughter of children. The only time the park was used was during the evacuation of Pripyat, when authorities briefly opened the gates to distract the residents from the unfolding horror. Today, it stands as a haunting relic of what could have been, with gas masks scattered on the ground and carnival games decaying under layers of dust. It's said that the park is still radioactive, making it a risky place to explore. But for some brave adventurers, the lure of witnessing this eerie time capsule is too strong to resist. Number 9. The Suicide Forest. Beneath the towering presence of Mount Fuji lies Aokigahara Forest, a place where silence is suffocating and the atmosphere unnerving. Known as Jukai, or the Sea of Trees, this dense woodland hides a chilling secret. For centuries, the forest has drawn people seeking an escape from life, with countless souls said to linger in its labyrinth of twisted trees. The forest's volcanic soil, rich in magnetic iron, disrupts compasses and cell signals, making it easy to become lost. Visitors report feeling a heavy weight on their chests, as if an invisible presence is watching them, while others hear inexplicable whispers or phantom footsteps. Paranormal investigators claim to have caught voices and shadowy figures on film, and hikers often describe being guided or misled deeper into the forest. With strange occurrences and an oppressive air, it remains one of the world's most haunting places, where every step might bring you closer to something you can't explain. Number 8. The abandoned house in Atlanta. In 1987, an ordinary house in suburban Atlanta became the center of one of Georgia's most baffling mysteries. The nightmare began when dark red liquid started seeping through the walls and floors, staining everything in its path. At first, it was dismissed as a prank or vandalism, but tests revealed the substance was human blood. Police and forensic teams couldn't find a source. Ground-penetrating radar, plumbing inspections, and historical research all came up empty. For weeks, blood oozed from different parts of the house, staining pristine walls and bubbling through the floorboards. As the investigation stalled, the owners abandoned the house, and it stood empty for years. Paranormal investigators later visited, capturing disturbing EVP recordings and strange phenomena. Today, the house remains abandoned, with boarded-up windows and an eerie atmosphere that sends shivers down anyone who dares approach. The property is forever haunted by its dark, unexplained history. And maybe we'll never find answers. Number 7. Abandoned Aquarium, Australia. In the desolate halls of the abandoned Wildlife Wonderland Park in Australia, one sight stands frozen in time. A huge, great white shark suspended in a leaking, green-tinged tank. Nicknamed Rosie, this mummified beast stretches 16.5 feet in length, its mouth forever frozen in a menacing gape. The shark was caught in 1998, preserved in formaldehyde, and initially displayed in a seafood shop before being transferred to the park. When the wildlife park closed in 2012, Rosie was left to decay in the dark, forgotten for years. In 2018, urban explorers rediscovered the grim display, their footage revealing the eerie sight of the shark floating in still water, surrounded by graffiti and crumbling walls. The silence in the abandoned park is unsettling, with many who visit reporting an overwhelming sense of dread. Rosie's cold, lifeless eyes seem to follow you, making the experience all the more unnerving as the predator waits in suspended animation. Number 6. Centralia Ghost Town. Deep in central Pennsylvania lies a ghost town shrouded in smoke and danger, Centralia. This once thriving mining town has been consumed by a subterranean fire that's been burning since 1962. It all began when a controlled burn ignited a coal vein beneath the town, setting off an unstoppable blaze that crept through abandoned mines. The fire's spread destabilized the ground, creating sinkholes and releasing toxic gases, making the town uninhabitable. Today, Centralia's cracked asphalt bleeds steam, and the ground remains warm enough to melt snow. Graffiti covers the infamous Highway 61, where visitors capture the eerie destruction. Over time, the population dwindled to nearly zero, and what remains is a landscape scarred by smoke and decay. The fire could burn for another 250 years. Urban explorers visit to see abandoned homes, personal belongings frozen in time, and roads that appear to lead to nowhere. But still, the fire rages beneath. Number 5. Abandoned toys in rural Russia. In a forgotten village in rural Russia, time stands still amid crumbling wooden buildings and abandoned toys. This haunting settlement is littered with remnants of childhood, tattered teddy bears and broken porcelain dolls, their once innocent expressions now weathered and twisted by neglect. These toys sit in eerie stillness by dusty windows and in darkened corners, evoking a sense of abandonment and loss. The village's origins remain unclear, with some locals attributing its desolation to an industrial accident, while others suggest economic collapse. Regardless of the cause, the village remains frozen in time. Urban explorers often feel a sense of sadness as they walk through the ruins, the stark contrast between the childlike toys and the decay around them creating an unsettling atmosphere. The scattered relics of childhood innocence now seem to carry a tragic weight, a reminder of lives left behind and forgotten. Number 4. Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky, was once a sprawling tuberculosis hospital, housing thousands during the deadly epidemic of the early 20th century. Built in 1910, this Gothic structure served as a grim home for the sick, many of whom never made it out. The most chilling feature of Waverly Hills is its body chute, a 500-foot tunnel used to discreetly transport the deceased without alarming the living patients. Over 8,000 people died within the walls of the sanatorium, and many report strange phenomena to this day. Paranormal investigators often capture eerie sounds like phantom footsteps, shadowy figures, and unexplained whispers in the body shot. The atmosphere is heavy with the echoes of despair, and many visitors describe an overwhelming sense of being watched. Number 3. Hingley Hospital for the Insane, England. Tucked away in East Sussex, Hingley Hospital stands as a dark symbol of Britain's troubling history with mental health care. Once a sprawling asylum built in 1903, the hospital housed over 1,200 patients at its peak, many subjected to cruel and outdated treatments like electroshock therapy and ice baths. Today, the building lies in ruin, its halls echoing with the ghosts of a tortured past. Visitors report unsettling experiences, disembodied whispers, phantom footsteps, and fleeting figures in the shadows. The abandoned wards, with their rusted bed frames and scattered medical records, tell stories of suffering and neglect. Ward 10, which housed the most severe cases, is particularly notorious, with reinforced doors and barred windows that speak to the isolation patients endured. Nature slowly reclaims the grounds, but the oppressive energy within the walls remains unchanged, as if the forgotten souls still roam the decaying halls. Number 2. Eastern State Penitentiary. Hidden in plain sight in Philadelphia, Eastern State Penitentiary stands as a haunting relic of America's early prison system. Opened in 1829, the penitentiary pioneered the use of solitary confinement to reform criminals, forcing prisoners to live in absolute isolation. One of its most infamous residents, Al Capone, reportedly experienced psychological torment as a result of the silence and confinement. Visitors to the prison today report eerie sensations, disembodied footsteps echoing through empty corridors, whispers from unseen voices, and an overwhelming feeling of being watched. The hospital wing is particularly unnerving, with tales of phantom moans and inexplicable movements. The prison's cell block 12 is a hotspot for paranormal activity, with investigators capturing unexplained scratching noises from within the walls. Number 1. Ghost City in the Sky. High in the clouds of Maggie Valley, North Carolina, lies a forgotten amusement park, Ghost Town in the Sky. Perched at 4,600 feet, the park once promised Wild West-themed fun and thrilling attractions. But after its closure in 2002, it became a haunting reminder of faded dreams. The remote location, accessible only by chairlift or cable car, added to its allure, but also led to its demise when visitors became stranded. Today, the abandoned park is a place of eerie stillness. Rusted carnival rides sway in the mountain wind, empty saloon doors creak on their hinges, and life-sized mannequins with peeling paint stand frozen in time. The Red Devil Cliffhanger roller coaster, now a twisted metal skeleton, clings to the mountainside like a forgotten relic. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.